I monitor my tank every day to ensure the health of my animals. And there's a lot of them in this tank. So with all of them depending on me to survive, what happens when I go away? You see, I'm traveling for work, and while that's not out of the norm, I'm gonna be gone for a little over 2 weeks. And that is. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm leaving for this trip in 7 days. So, that's not a lot of time. If I want my tank to survive without me for such a long time, I need to find a way to automate pretty much everything I would normally need to do over 2 weeks to keep my animals safe and alive. This means finding a way to keep my fish and critters fed, dose all my additives, monitor parameters from chemistry like pH or salinity, and maintain tank water that is so pristine it would make Fiji jealous. I meant like the island. Now, adding in such automation to a fish tank isn't novel, but to do so, people often spend hundreds to thousands of dollars on computers and sensors to run their fish tanks, some of which you may even know from commercials like these. Okay, that's enough of that. Now, don't get me wrong, buying and setting up a Reef controller computer thing is a great way to keep your Reef healthy while you're on vacation. But they're expensive and complicated. And it's probably not a good idea to start trying these just a couple days before leaving.
I don't know about this.
Instead, over the next 7 days, I'm going to purchase, test, and MacGyver equipment that will allow me to leave this tank on autopilot for multiple weeks with nothing going wrong. Cool, so, my tank just flooded. We're just trying this out. Honestly, this is not a good start. It's not a good start. Ah! Okay, good morning. I am severely sleep deprived. Also, it's like 3 p.m. But I made a list of all the things that we need to do over the next 7 days. So let's get to it. The first and maybe most important thing to tackle is going to be nailing down how I'm going to feed my fish. I think it goes without saying that to keep animals alive, they're going to need food. And this is where things can get tricky because different fish have different diets and energy needs. Some fish, like my wrasse, may need to be fed a couple times a day, while others, like this guy, just graze on naturally occurring copepod populations or algae. Typically, to keep these guys all fed, I'll feed my tanks a slurry of frozen seafoods like shrimp, clams, and plankton. But there's an issue here, which if you haven't already guessed, is that frozen foods like these only really work if I'm around to feed this every single day. And I won't be. Since I won't be here though, the obvious answer is an automatic fish feeder. Now, that's easier said than done because there is no shortage of options from Amazon or bulk Reef Supply that you can get. And these are all oh my God, dude, what is this price? The vast majority of these all kind of work the same way, so I don't know what the benefit of getting an expensive one is. I decided on this one. The way these work is actually really quite simple. There's this upper chamber which you can remove, and this is where all the food ends up going. So you can just remove the cap and pour in as much food as you want. Normally, I pour in just about how much I think they'll need, so if something goes wrong, I'm not putting tons and tons of food in my tank. From there, you can change the amount of food that gets poured into the tank by changing this little slider window thing that creates an opening that the food will fall out. Basically, then after setting a particular schedule at each time, this drum is going to rotate, allowing that amount of food to fall into the tank.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Whoops.
With the feeding slot adjusted to release just the right amount of food, we run into our first issue, which is where to put it on the fish tank. This spot obviously isn't going to work.
Oh my God, dude, is that a moth in my tank?
Dude, there's a moth in my tank.
What does that guy even do? Do you see that? Yo, I don't even know if he's alive. I'm scared to touch him.
After determining the moth was dead though, we're back to figuring out where to put the fish feeder on this tank that will allow me to also keep my lid where it is. It's actually a lot easier if you have a lid attachment for these feeders. I had this the whole time, okay? I was just playing with you guys. The lid attachment makes setting up the feeder extremely easy, and at this point, we're good to go. Also, I forgot to mention, we've got 5 more days left. You might have noticed I've got different clothes. I've got a haircut. It looks good. Feel free to tell me it looks good in the comments. And with that, the first task is done. Except not really, because this was also when I noticed this. Oh no, dude, the pellets don't sink. You can actually just get a feeding ring off of Amazon, and this allows the pellets to stay where they are until they sink and the fish can eat them, rather than the pellets immediately getting sucked into the overflow and into my filtration system. We just need to wait 2 days for shipping. Yeah. Okay, well, while we're waiting for that to arrive, I think we should go do some of the other items on the list because we still have the entire list to do. And the only other thing that I think makes sense to do this early is going to be the chemical dosing, just making sure that doser is topped up and ready to go. Look, I'm not totally sure why I felt like that needed an intro like that, but I liked it. And yes, I have one singular doser for my tank. And this is one of my favorite recent additions to my tank because it has become surprisingly important. Now look, not everybody's gonna need to think about a doser for vacation because not everybody needs one or has one. I do have one though because I like corals like these, affectionately known as small polyp stony corals. These corals pull a lot of calcium carbonate out of the water column to grow their skeleton since they're stony. And since these corals have started growing quite a bit, I need a way to replenish all the stuff that they're consuming. I use my doser to do that by dosing all for Reef. So if I just do some quick math here, I give my tank about 10 milliliters a day. If I top this beaker off at about 300 milliliters, that should be 30 days, way longer than I'm gone.
You know what, that's close enough.
I'd say we check that off the list now. All right, there you go, you guys. With 5 days left to go, we've done just one of the many things that we said we were gonna do, but I'm gonna call it a day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, you guys. I'm sorry I lied to you. It's been 2 days, meaning we basically need to get everything still on this list done today so that way we can make sure nothing goes wrong for a full day before we leave. So we got to just get right on to it. I mean, this is a lot of stuff to do. I think let's do the filter next. That's probably This music just seems so fun to me for some reason. Okay, welcome to my sump. As you can see, there's really not much in here and I did not clean it for you all. I basically just have a filter sock. That's kind of it. So we gotta clean that. And yes, touching this is super gross. This filter sock is gross. Also, it's completely clogged. I haven't cleaned it in a minute. It is covered with a couple cute stomatella snails, so we're gonna save those really quick. You're welcome for saving you, Steve. That one was Steve. Now, on to cleaning this. I know some people throw these in the washing machine. That seems like a waste to me because I'm not gonna put anything else in the washing machine with this. So instead, I just put this in my sink and I blast it with some water. After just blasting it for a little bit, it gets pretty clean. I just let it dry after that. And once it's dry, I just pop it back in. Now, for a really, really long trip, I might even just leave this out so that way there's no filter sock to get clogged. But in this case, I think it will be fine. At least I hope so. And with that, we can check off filter check. Where's my Sharpie? Here, give me. Got my Sharpie now, so we can check this off. Let's go. At this point, it's really just... Yeah, I wasn't really sure if I should show you the RODI water maker, the actual ATO itself, or the water reservoir. So, welcome to my sump again. This time, we're gonna talk about what's normally right here, which is the fresh water. And this is probably one of the biggest risks that I may run into when leaving my tank alone for a while. And you might be wondering, freshwater, saltwater tank risk? Let me explain. Now, many of you may already be aware, but many of the corals like mine thrive in a very specific salinity, and one that we need to keep constant. This is all fine and dandy until you realize we also have to deal with something in our tanks called evaporation. This becomes an issue because as water evaporates, it leaves the salt behind, making our salinity in our tanks rise. Typically, we counter this by filling the tank with fresh water, usually using something called an auto top-off, or ATO for short. Now, this is my ATO. It senses when the water is low, and it does this. Usually this ATO in my tank only lasts about 4 days. And doing some quick math, I've determined that is shorter than the amount of time that I'm going to be gone. So we're gonna need to do something about this. That's why I got this from Target. Should be enough. This is quite possibly gonna take forever to fill up, so we're gonna leave this here while I go start. Yeah, this is actually a clip from a old video I did on cleaning my tank. I don't think I need to explain what a water change is. It's literally in its name. This is what it looks like for me pretty typically. Oh goodness.
as is usual, you get a great view of my butt. Also, please don't ask me, it does look like I'm peeing against the wall. That's just what dedication looks like. We can check that one off the list. Let's go check on the top off now. Okay, we're only halfway. We'll do the rest tomorrow. Oh, I'm in my back. Say hello to 1 week's worth of auto top off. Now this is no different than the water chamber that's in my actual sump itself. So all I really need to do is move the pump over to this Target water reservoir thing that I have and adjust all the other stuff so that way it fits. And we're basically good to go. And I put the lid on, so make sure that evaporation's not an issue with this. Now I also do the same for my little tank. I know I've been not showing you guys this, but it's the exact same process for this tank as well. With that eventually all topped off, we can check this off the list. We're done. Now, I regret to inform you that the little food barricade thing that we got never arrived from Amazon. So we're just gonna wing this and hope for the best. This one's just gonna remain unchecked, I guess, forever. That being said though, we're still not totally done. There's a couple last minute ads to do. Namely, I'm gonna throw on some cameras just so that way I can watch the tank while I'm gone, since I'm probably gonna miss it. At this point, I've done everything I could do to prepare my tank for while I'm gone on vacation, and now we leave for a little over 2 weeks. And will I absolutely love this vacation and the places I got to go see? I couldn't help but wonder pretty much the whole time, what would the condition of my tank be like when I get back home?
And the answer is not that well. That's a lot of aptasia, so that's gonna be a video for next time. Yeah, that's, oh my God, that is so much.